Major red flags are surfacing over Donald Trump claiming more assassination attempts based on court filings that Donald Trump is making to tell the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, I need this ballroom right now. Donald Trump had a terrible oral argument before the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, where, remember, that's where one of his lawyers essentially argued that if we tore down the Statue of Liberty, we don't have to do anything. There's no remedy that you have. We're waiting on a ruling to see what the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals is going to do regarding Judge Leon, who's the federal judge who has the underlying case, issued an injunction, but stayed the injunction blocking Donald Trump's construction of the ballroom that Donald Trump wants. But Donald Trump then said, well, because you said that I can, for national security purposes, build the bunker underneath the ballroom, actually the ballroom is a shield like the bunker, and it's an anti-drone shield that will block and prevent drones from Iran and other places from hitting the White House. So we need a drone shield. So don't view it as a ballroom, view it as a drone shield. And now, because it's national security, remember how I promised that we were going to have my rich friends pay for it? No. Maybe, but most of it's going to be paid for now by taxpayers, or a lot of it's going to be paid for by taxpayer dollars, because now it's a national security shield for drones. And then we're going to build a drone port on top of this golden ballroom. And so that's what this really is, because we need to protect against the drones and we need to use it to shoot drones at people. So then the UFC event happens, and what happens a few days later, during the week, the Trump regime FBI goes, we were about to be hit by a drone strike. Had we had a ballroom, it would have stopped potential drone strike. This is what we've been warning about. So Judge Leon, who's a Republican appointed judge, he underestimates that the drone strike is real. I mean, when you look also at the underlying, FBI affidavits regarding some of these individuals who were arrested as part of this purported drone strike scheme. First off, the Secret Service was absolutely livid that Kash Patel and the FBI leaked this thing to begin with. And I'm not trying to downplay it or underestimate it or whatever. It kind of seems like a bunch of mentally ill people on 4chan, who were saying disgusting things, and they went to a chat room together and they were saying all of these things. And then Kash was like, we got to arrest them. And drones, got it. This is the best way to do an anti-drone ballroom. So we predicted this was going to happen before the UFC event. I did a video the Sunday morning before, and I said, they're going to say drones. I said, I bet you they say there's going to be a drone strike. And then that's what they went with on Tuesday. And then at the end of the week, they send a letter to the clerk of the court, which is just kind of bizarre. You're sending letters to the clerk of the court. Oral arguments done. But what's the clerk going to do? Granted, the clerk, I don't know. They send it to the clerk of the court. Dear Miss Sislak, defendant's right to advise the court of a development that confirms the national security imperative of staying and reversing the district court's lawless injunction and judgment. Today, the DOJ announced charges against 5 men for an alleged plot to carry out an attack to kill President Trump, his family, dignitaries, and others attending the UFC event held on the South Lawn of the White House this Sunday. According to the charges, the men planned to deploy drones armed with explosives in and around the UFC event in order to force an evacuation of the event, and then planned to deploy snipers to fire upon high-value targets within the fleeing crowd. Law enforcement detected and disrupted the plot on Thursday, June 10th, a few days before it was to be launched. The latest assassination plot against Trump and dignitaries at the White House demonstrates the compelling need for East Wing project with a ballroom designed to defend against such an attack. The project will support a highly sophisticated drone port and sniper nest atop the can't even freaking read this. Atop the ballroom that would destroy any effort to launch an attack. The knitted, unified, cohesive ballroom will also have many other critical strategic features. A heavy steel drone-proof roof, missile-resistant columns, ballistic and blast-proof glass windows, military grade, and hermetically sealed venting and air conditioning. The ballroom's mass and height will be a shield. It will shield the White House grounds from attack and give Secret Service the visibility needed to identify attackers. It will protect the president and guests at major events that are currently held in plastic tents that cannot even protect highly esteemed guests from inclement weather, let alone high-caliber bullets and kamikaze drones. In short, the repeated assassination attempts and plots against President Trump and those around him demonstrate the national security imperative for a bulletproof, drone-proof ballroom to protect the president, all future presidents, their cabinet, staff, families, and guests. You know who didn't need a ballroom as a shield? Every other president in the history of the United States. You know who will not need one? All future presidents of the United States. Donald Trump's team told Donald Trump that, well, the judge did say that I'm not allowed for national security purposes to issue an injunction about things that are national security, but the ballroom is vanity. So then Donald Trump goes, I mean, especially when we hear the way he talks to his cabinet members. And we knew this would be the case from the book Regime Change by Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan. You know, he'll bring people in the room like Howard Lutnick. I'm like, Lutnick, you're a pussy, Lutnick. You don't want to do tariffs against the world, Lutnick. I mean, you could just imagine how, and then Lutnick's like, yeah, I'm your $25 billion pussy, Donald. I mean, these people are just garbage humans and they talk so disgusting. But you can imagine that you have Todd Blanche shows up, well, Donald, the judge did say, national security. Tell them we're under attack by drones. Oh, Donald, I'm not sure. Tell them we're doing a drone part. Oh, you may tell them we're doing, I saw drones everywhere. I mean, that's the way it went down. I promise you, it went down just, okay, well, tell them it's drones, Donald. Yes, boss. Yes, boss. Like right out of the cartoonish movie, shows that were, yeah, boss. Like Ninja Turtle Shredder, the people next to him. Like that's what it's like. I don't even know how this is real life. And as I'm reading it, we should all take stuff like this seriously, but he's become the boy who's cried assassination right now. And the way he rushes and uses these things immediately for political gain and talks about drone proofs, no one takes anything seriously. It's a clownish regime. Foreign leaders, nobody takes him seriously. And this is just another example of it. I want to bring in Harry Littman from the Talking Feds YouTube channel, Substack, and podcast. Harry, I want you to break this down for us because, look, when he writes things like this, then I don't take the underlying allegation. It just makes me not take the underlying allegations seriously when you write something like that, because I got it. That's why you're doing it. And it's just stupid. In 3 weeks, Harry, he's done 3 filings saying assassination attempts mean this is an imperative that I build my golden ballroom. It's just getting stupid.
I view this, Ben, first and foremost as a prosecutor. There is a very strict injunction against revealing a pending investigation. It's got 2 reasons. One is to permit the investigation to develop and not actually let people who may be under investigation know about it. The second reason is to protect possible defendants' rights and not smear them when they, in fact, may not be subject to being charged with a crime. Now, like you, when I've read the details that are in the paper, I think probably knuckleheads here who are not within a country mile of literally executing on their big talking plot that they're having fun over their signal chat with. But it's not clear. It's sure the case that the things they're talking about could be grave and exigent, and therefore you must keep it under wraps while you develop the investigation that might be serious. So the first thing this shows is every principle, not even of ethics and norms, but just sound law enforcement, out the window in order to try once again, as you say, it's been 3 times, to exploit this for political gain. And it's all, as you say, a non sequitur. We've had one big filing done after the White House Correspondents' Dinner at the Washington Hilton. It's always been in the Washington Hilton. It always will be. There's not the most remote showing that anyone dignitary Trump service personnel at the White House was in some danger that they wouldn't be because of the ballroom. Indeed, remember, this was all Trump saying, I'm going to make it beautiful. It'll be it needs to be refurbished and only I can solve it. And he switched gears completely to this security rationale only after they dug a hole in the ground and the Richard Leon, the judge you talked about, and the Court of Appeals started saying, well, look, you've dug this hole in the ground. I guess we've got to let you make it secure. And their legal argument has now been, well, the whole thing, the whole crazy, dystopian Trump mausoleum dream, all of that is about security. So that's a complete lie. I want to talk also as a lawyer about this filing. As you say, they've already had the oral argument in the DC Circuit, and you're not allowed to argue anymore. What you're allowed to do is just a letter that merely states, with no argument, that's what the rule says clearly, some new legal development. They totally exploited is the wrong word, violated that. Instead, they have this supposed factual development and a crappy non sequitur at that, that in the process of saying this shows something, which it shows nothing, they again trash the other side, fold in all kinds of arguments, and it's just this political screed and talking point kind of camouflaged and not very well as the sort of thing you actually submit to the court. So the whole thing, first of all, it's not a small thing in and of itself, whether when Trump leaves town, we have this grotesque, complete reconfiguring of the whole damn Washington, D.C. Skyline and buildings and such. But it's just completely of a piece with it, the lying, the self-dealing, and the like. And, it shows that this is all politics first, Trump first, politics second, Trump second, and law enforcement way down on the line. You mentioned, by the way, another indication, you've got an administration in disarray with all kinds of backbiting. Kash Patel running out front to what's really a Secret Service matter to claim credit for it. Again, this is now a law enforcement investigation, and they could well have blown it. And if they didn't blow it, it's because it's small potatoes and they're just some knucklehead jerks who are talking. And in that case, both the submission to the DC Circuit and the publicizing of those people are a dereliction of duty. So everything in this administration just takes second or 10th place to Trump's personal interests of, here building this monstrosity.
Harry's going to be hosting an event with Senator Adam Schiff on July 3rd in San Diego. It would be great if anybody in the area showed up. Harry, can you tell people where they can go to see you and Senator Schiff?
Ben, thanks for mentioning. Talking San Diego, we do a series of talks like this. Recently, Governor Shapiro. So Senator Schiff will be coming. It's the federal holiday, January 3rd, but we think people may be hopefully around. Nice time in the morning, 10:30 to 11:30. It's at Congregation Beth Israel in La Jolla. It'll just be me and him, one-on-one, the kind of discussions we have on Talking San Diego, but in person. I'm really looking forward to it. And yeah, any Fed heads, any Midas Mighty, any friends of the above who are in the vicinity of Southern California, come on in for an hour, inexpensive tickets, Friday, July 3rd at 10:30. You can just go to talkingsandiego.net, not com, to get all the information and buy tickets.
Everybody hit subscribe, get to 7 million subscribers here, but let's get Harry's YouTube channel to 1 million subscribers. Go to Talking Feds, subscribe to Talking Feds YouTube. Thanks, Harry.
Thank you, Ben.
Just search Talking Feds on YouTube. Have a good one, Ben.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.